Hello, Master Gary Hernandez here. I had somebody email me a question because they know I'm a knife guy also, that we teach combat knife fighting at our school. And they wanted to ask me that does it matter what size knife they're carrying in the streets? And also, if it's a smaller knife, is it going to be effective against a pretty good sized attacker or basically any attacker? And my question to that is, it doesn't matter what kind of knife you carry to a point. And when I mean that to a point, and no pun intended on the point, is that on a folder, it doesn't matter to me. And this, again, this is a personal. I'm going to have about 1,000 people out there go, oh, it matters very much whether it's this kind of folder, that kind of folder. Okay, and that for them, that's great. I'm not here to tell anybody I know better than nobody, because you know what? I don't. I just know from experience of what I was taught, what I've done, what I've learned, what I've seen, and the pros and cons that have happened to me and the techniques that I've done. Now, with that said, carrying a fixed blade, obviously, to me, is a bad choice. Again, to me. Why? It's big. I don't care if you have a weapons permit and you can carry a fixed blade, or I don't care if you live in high rises in New York or shack in Alabama. It doesn't matter. To me, for self-defense, it's rather on the large side. You're going to see it. And there's a couple of pros and cons with that I can go with left and right. Now, with a folder, that's a little different issue. I've seen some pretty good sized folders, and I've seen some little sized folders. Now, again, to me, on a folder, it's not so much the knife, but how well the person wields it. Now, I carry religiously an Emerson CQC16. I've been carrying this blade since I bought it over 10 years ago. I also have Spyderco, Benchmade, Kershaw. I have tons in SOG. I have tons and tons of different knives. I probably have in the neighborhood, if you were to go with folders, I probably have about 40, 50 of them. If you go with fixed blades, probably about 25 to 30. Now, with that said, I like this knife because it fits me. And again, fits me. Okay, I can't tell you. I have people tell me, what kind of knife should I buy? It fits me. That's why I carry it. Now, this is the size of my Emerson. If I put it in my hand, because I'm going to compare this one with a smaller knife. The blade is 3.5 inches, and it's what I like. Now, I use this knife, not only do I carry it for self-defense, but I also use it for everyday work, opening up stuff. You know, because come on, that's what a knife really is for. Now, I'm a big believer. Let's say you carry your gun. I'm a believer in having a backup. Okay, backup. If now maybe I'll carry a smaller backup gun, or if I'm not going to carry a backup gun, I'm going to carry a knife. I want more than one self-defense tool. Now, my backup knife, I carry a backup knife. Yeah, 3 knives. Sometimes I do, but normally when I'm carrying a knife, my backup is going to be a smaller knife. So if I have my Emerson in my right side pocket, because I'm right in the front, because I'm right-handed, I'll carry a smaller backup knife in my left side back pocket. That way, if this arm's ever injured, I can reach around and I have another knife. Now, going back to the main question about a smaller blade, there's a lot of them. I have a SOG Twitch. I have different kind of knives, Gerbers. Oh, but I like to carry this one, and this is a small Kershaw. This one I think is the Scallion. It's very small. I've had it for a while. Again, you can see the difference. This one conceals in my whole palm, and I don't have very big hands. I'm a small guy. Show you the difference between the two, and you get an idea of the size. Now that we kind of covered the size difference, okay, this blade here is only 2.25 inches. Now, going back to that question, can I use this knife effectively in self-defense? Absolutely. Now, a lot of times you hear somebody was stabbed 8, 9, 10, 17 times, and they died. Yeah, sooner or later you're going to hit an organ. You're going to have a lot of blood loss. You're going to hit the right thing if you don't hit it on the first time. Now, there's people that have been stabbed multiple times and have lived. So, in a situation, if I have to put somebody down and I have no other choice, I want to try to do it in no more than 2 cuts. I really do. Now, we have our slices and we have our thrusting, your stabs. Situation when someone comes up to you, just to give you a couple of ideas of how effective you can use a small knife and where you use it. Now, don't get me wrong, you want to get somebody off you, they're reaching. You know, everybody likes to slash across the hands, and that's great. Me, I'm going to come in, I'm going to put my hand to the back side of this, come in, and I'm going to slash. If they're reaching for me, I'm going to open this entire midsection up. Let me tell you something, they're going to feel it. And then as I do that, I'm going to thrust, if I have to, into the throat. They're throwing a punch at me, same thing. I'm going to smash down across those knuckles. Or if they're throwing a haymaker, I'm going to come in, catch that wrist, slice it open, and come back for a thrust. Now, what do I mean by one slice, or not one slice as much as one thrust should do it? I'm going to turn that thrust into also a ripping technique. If I catch somebody, and I'm not going to stab into Bob here, obviously, with my knife, I don't want to ruin him. But if I catch Bob up in the throat area, now you can stab in the throat and pull out, and people that do this, they bleed out. They can live. We have seen situations in the news where people have been stuck and stabbed in the throat and have lived. Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and stab him 5 or 6 times. Number one, he's going to either move back or something's going to happen. What I'm going to do is thrust into his throat, and I'm going to simply turn that blade as much as I can, and I prefer to come in more this way, and I'm going to push his head one way and rip it the other. So I'm going to come in and rip. What I want to do is tear up into the throat, tear into that flesh. Don't just pull out. Push his head and rip his throat apart. Pretty much going to solve my problems. Same thing. If I'm inverted, as I come into the side of the neck, I'm going to push the head and rip apart. So not only am I entering with a puncture wound and just pulling out, I'm tearing the flesh. I'm tearing the muscle. I'm tearing the soft tissue. I'm a huge fan of ripping apart their ear canal. Whether if I'm fighting, hitting with a punch, same thing with a knife. I always tell people with a tactical pen to do it. Jam it in the ear canal, blunt trauma. Same thing with the blade. I'm going to enter the ear canal with the blade. But I'm going to, as I pull out, I'm going to rip. I'm going to tear. I want to tear as much tissue, soft tissue, as I possibly can. That's where a lot of your effect's going to come. You're thrusting in, you get them in the heart. Let's say you stab somebody and it goes into the heart, whatever, stab somebody and then break you. Get that vein going. Don't just go in and come out. Take that knife, jam it up in there, turn, twist, and rip it out. Tear out as much flesh as you possibly can. That's the secret that I feel to ripping somebody apart with a blade the proper way. Just 500 stabs? Yeah, that's going to do it. But man, get off me, get off me. Now go in, stab, move, rip, go in, rip that flesh, tear it apart. You don't need a huge blade. This blade tearing into your throat area, all that soft tissue, I'm going in, I'm turning, think about whittling wood. I'm whittling in that throat. And as I get up in that throat, if I'm going to go this way, I'm going to push that head and rip this way. If I'm going to go this way, I'm going to push that head the other way. Same thing, up under an arm, rip, tear, pull it out. Don't just pull it out this way. Tear out, tear the muscle, tear the tendons, tear the cut, rip the vein. That's going to give you proper technique of putting somebody down faster with a small blade. So think of in and rip. In and rip. It's going to do it. So hopefully that helps. And yes, the small blade will allow you to do a lot of damage. And I'm not saying that's what you need to do to people. I don't want somebody going out there stabbing the crap out of somebody. Well, this is what this guy said I should do. No, it's a self-defense. I have no other option. There's more than one attacker. My life is 100% in danger. So, because when you go to court, you're going to have a better time in court against when you shoot somebody than you are when you stab somebody. Because when you stab somebody, they're going to say it's up close and personal, it's more passionate, and yada, 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 it's more gory. You're going to hear all that crap, and you're going to have a hard time in court. But that's just giving you my insight on a small knife. Gary Hernandez, and thank you.